After a recent conversation I had about my builds in Minecraft, I decided I would attempt to cheat my way out of corporate life and start sharing them on YouTube. This is my building world, and I've recently decided it's going to be my forever world, except slightly different from the forever world you might be familiar with. So, believe it or not, I have a job. So while I have no issue with it, I don't have time to spend 3 weeks gathering resources for every mega build I decide to make. So I've been more of a creative player for the last few years, dedicating my time towards creativity and becoming a better builder. And while this world is nothing crazy yet, I do believe it has the potential to become one of the best projects I have ever made. So as I'm sure you've noticed, I have already done 2 builds in this world, and unfortunately I have no footage of them considering I wasn't doing YouTube when I made them, but I do plan on absolutely doing videos on them, tours and like a breakdown or whatever in the future. But for today I want to focus on a new project. I've decided on this area for it. It's going to be the beginning of the documented journey of this world, and yeah, perfect. That should be plenty for now, and we can get started on the wall. If you can't tell by looking at this temple I previously built, I love starting things off with a good wall. It gives me a great foundation of style and design language to go off of for the rest of the build. So I don't really have like a blueprint or anything in mind quite yet for this build. All I know is that I want it to be like a mystical, sort of like magical castle with like orangey and like red tones around it. So that's kind of all I've decided so far. So now I'm basically just going to wing it and mess around for a little bit and see what I can come up with. Okay, so this is sort of what I've come up with after about an hour of messing around with some blocks, and yeah, I really like it. So now I think I'm just going to repeat it for I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times to the left and the right. And I'm thinking of making like a gate maybe in the middle, like a huge gate for like the main entrance. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so this looks incredible. I'm super happy with it. I think this is far enough out. 3 on each side seems to be perfect. I'm also gonna add like 2 little towers on the corners. I guess it'll be 4 at the end. But yeah, we're making great time, especially not using Axiom. I don't really even think this needs explaining, but Axiom is such an incredible tool. It really just speeds up builds and keeps me sane, as with a lot of other builders that make stuff on this scale. So I'd say about 40% of the building is Axiom. The other 60% is me actually physically placing blocks and grinding it out. So yeah, just to clear that up. I never really considered how difficult it is to document this process. I've never recorded myself building one of these, and about 60% of my time is spent editing, recording, and fixing issues with clips. Like, I just recorded like 30 minutes of footage that had no sound, so now I have to dub over Minecraft block sounds over it, or delete it and rebuild it. And then my drivers needed updated, crashed my computer, I had to restart it, reopen the 40 windows I had open for this video. It's crazy. I would be almost done with this by now if I wasn't recording it. Either way, issues aside, this is the most fun I've had making a project like this in a long time. So we need to get the floor cleared out. I need a nice flat base to work on to start building this castle on. So I guess we're gonna do that now. My God, all right, that was ridiculous. It's done, finally, the floor, or the ground. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Very boring. Holy, thank God that's over. You can see I added some like random rocks here. I don't know, I'm gonna replace that later, but I can't just leave it a square for some reason. I also made this gradient pattern. Quick disclaimer, I have no idea where I found this gradient, but I think it was from a TikTok, and I have been looking for it for days. If somebody finds it, let me know, because I'd love to credit them, but it is not mine. The purple gradient that I'm about to talk about in 2 seconds is also inspired from this gradient, so it would be great if I could find it. For the bottom of the top of the towers, the side towers, it's inspired by the build that I showed you earlier, my other castle build that is incomplete, might I add. So I guess I should finish the rest of the other 4 now. Beautiful. After looking at it for a while, I'm thinking I'm going to leave this side open and maybe make like a village around the mountain here or something. I don't know. It feels kind of boring to make it just a big square. So like maybe I put a village here, like wrapped around the mountain, and I just leave the mountain here. I'm thinking about the lore here. So like basically I'm thinking, like the royalty lives in the walls or something like that. And then, like the regular people live in this village that's like connected and like spilling out of the walls, and it's all connected. Lore aside, that's enough of the wall. It's time for the main castle. My vision for this is sort of, I kind of want to stick to the mystical side of things. I don't want it to look like a regular castle from like the real world. I want it to truly feel alive and like it doesn't exist anywhere else but here. Since my other castle build is unfinished, I'm sort of going to draw some inspiration from it because it never got to really see its true potential. So I'm thinking it's going to be a lot more right angles rather than like curved archways like a typical castle. And that's kind of the vision I'm going to be working off of for the main structure. I spent the next few hours sort of just messing around with different structures and color palettes and kind of just experimenting to see what I liked. Like I said earlier, I don't really have a plan for this. I'm kind of just deciding what I like as I go, and yeah, that's kind of my style when I make these builds. I sort of have like a rough vision at the beginning, and it sort of just morphs into a final product that I didn't have a plan for at the beginning. During my experimenting with all of this, I sort of did come up with a rough layout that I think I want to follow for the main castle structure. So this red outline here is going to be where those 2 main columns are currently. It's going to be the main room where the actual interior is. The black in the middle is going to be the floating bridge part. There's nothing there yet, but it's going to be a floating bridge in the middle. And the thinner black lines on the outside are going to be slanted roofs with more rooms in there. And the orange part is going to be the village that spills out over the mountains. Anyways, it's time for my daily arthritis speed run.
Life like this sure is sweet, huh?
It definitely is.
Sick. Okay, now that that's fixed, you can sort of see the rough outline of the actual building. Oh god. Okay, not only can I not stop coughing, I was also wrong. This is the shape of the floating bridge. It is not going to stay connected to the ground. Those poles are just there to make sure it was aligned and, I was placing the blocks in the right spot. Okay, it is disconnected from the ground, and I am sort of messing around with these campfires here. I can't decide between the campfire or the shroom light, or maybe a third option, I'm not sure. I do want it to be glowing though. I'm a big fan of incorporating your lighting into the build instead of, I hate having lanterns like just everywhere or torches. I love hiding my lighting, or at least making it part of the structure. Alright, so I got sort of annoyed with that bridge, so we're moving on to the main structure here. Sort of struggling right now, so we're gonna try some stuff out. I don't like this current gradient at all. Oh hell no. Nope. Ooh. Okay. This is much better. That's what I'm talking about. I messed around with this border a little bit to see which style I sort of liked, whether more detailed or less detailed will look better, and I ended up going with the less detailed one. The more detailed one looked more like a real castle instead of like the look I'm going for, so. I also built these supports for the bridge. I think they turned out great. They just reused the same gradient as the rest of the castle. I think it looks amazing, so those will get copy pasted to the other sections later on. And I also copy pasted the wall details to the other sections. So yeah, overall great day, tons of progress. that is where I ultimately decided to leave off for day 2. All right, day 3. I think today we're going to get into the bridge itself. I think I want to try and complete that. Just kind of feels like the vibe today. So let's get into it and see what I can get done. All right, so this is an interesting start to the day. I've immediately realized that these are not centered. This bridge is... The bridge is off-centered. On the right is an 8-block gap, and on the left is a 7-block gap to the main building. So, yeah, exciting. So I started the day by rebuilding this entire section of the bridge and recentering it correctly. Not ideal, considering that took like an hour to do the night before, but whatever, it's done now. I want to figure out a way to incorporate the lighting into this wall and sort of the whole castle. Like I said earlier, I'm trying to find a way to hide it, so this is kind of what I've come up with. I forgot that walls did this. The light comes through them. I don't know how I know this or knew it, but it works, so I think it looks sick, so that's perfect. All right, it's time for my daily mandatory placement of 10,000 blackstone. It really does suck we all have to wake up and do this. This thing is huge. Oh my god. I kind of realized I got sidetracked and never really built the full structure, so the main shape is done now. I don't know how I just forgot about that. You can see I made the main pillars taller on the side facing the village. I'm thinking that this side is going to be a little different since it's going to be like the front to this like community or whatever. So yeah, they're going to be taller, designed a little different. I'm going to save them for later. But as you can see, all the other details on the front of the other sides are done. I also copy pasted these little glowy structural things that hold the bridge up just with Axiom real quick. So got the front ones done. I got to do the other sides, but yeah, so it looks sick. It's been a few hours at this point. I'm kind of sick of building. I think I need a little break, so I think I'm going to do some terraforming, some mindless terraforming, get this forest cleared out. It's kind of in the way of the view from my temple. Like, you can't really see half of the building, so I think I'm going to clear this out, make it flat. Bang, done. All right, so that looks sick. That's way better. And then we can build some structures out here, maybe like, I don't know. Something's going here. Eventually, we'll figure it out. All right, next up, I want to make this bridge less ugly. So I switched out the netherite for basalt and covered the lighting with the walls to sort of match the towers I did. So I think it flows better. Like, they match each other. The bridge didn't really look like it was part of the same build before this. So remember the little thing about the bridge? Yeah, I noticed it here. So that is supposed to be 1 orange block in the middle, not 2. The rest of them have 1. So the front right structure, the L structure, the blackstone, is 1 block too far to the right. So I copy pasted it, moved it over 1, fixed the whole thing, deleted the supports, the bridge, rebuilt it, and now we are fixed. Oh, thank God it's aligned. Okay, we're good. We're good. Holy, these are too bright. They hurt my eyes. They're too harsh. I'm throwing some carpet on them. All right, after a not so productive day, that concludes day 3. Let's hope I can get a little more work done tomorrow. It's gonna be a big day. I've got nothing going on. Should be able to make some crazy progress. All right, so I got sick of how long this was taking and just went kind of nuts on the morning of day 4. So I did these like little flag parts. I did the roofs of the pillars, and I also designed the top of the like main wall outside pillars, which I think turned out great. Then I made whatever this is. It looks horrible. I hate it. But this is going to take some experimenting. I moved on to the walls because I got annoyed with the roof because it's so ugly. This looks good, but it doesn't really fit. I think I need to tweak it a bit to make it match the rest of the castle. Okay, this looks much better. I am happy with how this wall looks. These, on the other hand, look horrendous. I can't even describe how much I hate these. So, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do about that. They look cool from the inside, but oh my god, are they ugly from the outside. I ended up ditching the slanted roof idea. I don't think it really fits this, and it looked horrible in my opinion. So I like this rectangle design a lot better, especially with the end rods. I think I'm much happier with this. Now, all I gotta do is copy paste it to the other side and we will be good. I then designed the little like archway thingies for the top of the main pillar structures and added these end rods as like railings to the edge of the main shape. Placing these things is probably the worst thing you can do to yourself. This was genuinely miserable. Alright, up next you get to watch me build the front of this place with no shaders on. Game looking ugly as hell, so yeah, sorry about that. I forgot to turn them on, but it ended up looking like this. So yeah, turn the shaders back on. These ones are different. I was messing around with different shader packs at this point. I like the first ones more, but sky does look nuts on this one. I also then realized that this is not aligned, so that's awesome. I have a tendency to do that, I guess. Bang, fixed. This looks nuts. Oh my god. All right, it is time to go crazy style on... Oh, damn. I'm about to watch F1 qualifiers and play for the next 9 hours. All right, speedrun time. As you can see, I finished this wall. Bang, pasted it over the other one. Boom, built this staircase. Bah, built this little arched thing for the side. Added this bridge because I realized there's no method to get from the different roofs to the other ones. I built both roofs for the main front pillars. Then I added the side parts to both of them. I designed and added the walls for the little like outside patio parts. I got kind of sentimental over this tree for some reason, because it's where I've been filming from, or like recording from, like for all the updates, you know, I've been standing on this tree, so I feel like I should keep it. I'd have to move it. I'm going to do some terraforming. I'm going to make some custom terrain and get rid of this mountain, so it's got to come down. I would like to introduce you to said custom terrain that I talked about 4 seconds ago, and bang, tree is rescued. I then made the bridge not look like garbage. I think it looks great now. Awesome. Oh, it's snowing. Oh my god, my polar bear can finally have his climate back. Hell yeah. I was feeling very bad for annihilating his mountain range and getting rid of all the snow, but this'll fix it. We gotta name this guy. I also went around and added some realistic looking like snowfall around, so like it's piled up around the corners and stuff. So I think that adds some realism to the build. Then I mined out these 2 spaces at the end of the bridges. These will become future build ideas, projects for the future. Alright, I think it's time for a little update on what this place looks like. The sky view, like this bird's eye view, is psycho. It looks so cool. The supports for the bridge, oh my god. This is my favorite view of the whole place. It's from the top, and I'm never going to see it like this, which sucks, but it looks incredible. Alright, so I kind of went crazy on day 6 with the interior. This was like a 15-hour process, all of this that I'm about to show you. So I kind of just wanted to show you guys around now that it is finally finished. There's still a lot to do. But yeah, you can see I added a lot of details. I kind of went for a more regular castle theme for the inside because I'm going to be really honest, I have no idea how to design an interior with the style on the outside. This is really all I know how to do, so it's what I ended up doing. I think it still looks great, but yeah, you can see all the rooms are connected. There's a way to get to every room in survival. It's all usable. But yeah, this is what it looks like before. So I have to cover all of the walls in tuff, usually like 3 layers deep to cover up the outside walls. So the inner rooms are actually a lot smaller. The castle walls are like 4 blocks thick, which I actually kind of like. You can see here I've used about 25,000 tuff, and that was for one interior room. Obviously there's other tuff blocks in the world, so I'd say there's maybe 15,000 total. I also included little Easter eggs like this hidden room here. I guess if I ever you know, like release this map as like an adventure map sometime in the future if this does well or something. I don't know. There's Easter eggs hidden all over this map. Hidden rooms, chests, loot, stuff like that. So yeah, this is the second wing of the castle. This one's got a whole lot of storage in it. It's like a storage room. I forgot to say the first one was like a library. That was the main use of that wing. This wing is more general purpose. It's got storage. It's got like altars. It's got an enchantment room currently, but I think I'm gonna redo it. So I'm really proud of this wall and this altar looking thing. I guess, I don't know, you could like pray here or something. I don't know, the people here could pray or so. I have no idea. It looks religious to me. And then we've got another one up these stairs here that I think looks really good. I might change this carpet. Not the biggest fan of it, but it looks good. I'm making them all different. None of them have the same layout, so they're all unique. I didn't just want to copy paste all the interiors into all four. So you can see I got some nice shots here of the castle and how it's coming. I'm so happy with it. It looks nuts. I can't believe how good it's turning out, even myself. It's really important to me how the like the skyline looks on like my building worlds, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't too close to this temple build. So I'm really happy with how far away I put it. It's not too close, it's not too far. It's very visible and like obvious, but it's not like cramped against the other build. I think the spacing is really nice on it, and it looks great. So that was the work for day 6, sort of like a recap style segment. Up next is the town. Can I just start off by saying that deciding to do this village was probably the worst idea I've ever had. This took longer than the castle, and I'm not even going to finish it in this video. Like, I'm going to get it like 80% done, but I mean, I'm going to continue this world, you know, off camera. I'm always building stuff, so. But oh my god, this was the biggest undertaking of the whole project, because none of it's repeatable. It's all custom houses, different layouts, different buildings, different purposes for buildings. It's crazy. It was worth it though, because it does add a lot of life to the castle instead of it just being a big empty castle. So it was totally worth it, but oh my god, did it take forever. This is the final push though. Once I finish this up, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna finish some stuff around the castle, and then I'll show you guys around. All right, we are all done. So I did a lot of landscaping, like type work, like terrain building, to make it sort of blend into the surrounding territory more instead of just being on a big slab of stone. So there's like a wall on one side, and there's these designed like pillars on the front. There's some terrain on the like left side, I guess, if you're looking at the front. I'm really happy with how this turned out. The fully built interiors are amazing. I think it really brought it to life. And I also forgot to mention there's also like 50 guard quarters, like individual rooms for the, like, I guess king's guards or something, that are like underground in his like chambers in his wing. So that's pretty cool. The final block count came out to about 450,000. There's a rough selection, so that's pretty crazy. I loosely counted the temple and it was like 150,000, so this is by far the biggest thing I've ever built, I think in my whole life. So the fact that we got it done relatively quickly was great, and I think I'm ready to start the next one. So let me know if you want to see anything specific in the comments, but other than that, thank you guys. I'll see you next time.